What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 147 of the Idiotic Sports Talk. I'm your host, Liam Gavin, coming to you live from my dining room. And today I want to give you all my week 13 picks around the NFL. Last week I went 8-8 on my picks, which is still 500, but I have to do better. We have to do better this week. And what's really sad is I started off 4-0 and then I finished 4-8. So not a good record down the stretch. But we got football tonight. We have the Thursday night game kicking off in a few hours with the Bills versus the Patriots. This game's going to be in Foxborough. The Bills have won a couple straight games now. They won with Thanksgiving last week, while the Patriots lost last week on Thanksgiving. And I expect a pretty good game. You know, these two teams always play each other tough. They're in the same division. The Bills have such a potent and lethal offense. Their defense is good too. The Patriots offense looked really good last week. We'll see how it does this week against a tough defense of the Bills, but the Patriots defense is always solid. And believe it or not, I'm having trouble picking the winner of this game. Bill Belichick can always make a young quarterback such as Josh Allen make his life a living hell. But Josh Allen has stood up to that test of Bill Belichick quite a few times, and one was in the playoffs this past postseason where Josh Allen completely shredded Bill Belichick and his defense and his team. I'm going to roll with the Bills here, 21-17. That's my pick for this game. We're going to move on to the Sunday games, Packers versus the Bears. This one's interesting. I don't know who's going to be quarterback, if it's going to be Aaron Rodgers or if it's going to be Jordan Love, and they're taking on the Bears, who do have Justin Fields back. Justin Fields has been killing it, but unfortunately the rest of his team, especially his defense, has not been. I think I'm going to roll with the Packers here. It's another tough game. Like, the Bears always get beat by them, so I'm basing it off that. But the Bears eventually have to break that curse of losing to the Packers, losing to Aaron Rodgers. And they could do it. I'm pulling for the Bears, but I just think the Packers get it, especially if Aaron Rodgers is back at quarterback. He just somehow owns the Bears. And as Bears fans, if you can hear me, take it from me, a Cowboys fans. I don't know what it is with Aaron Rodgers, but he owns us completely bad. I think what happened was he was dating a Bears fan in high school, and she left him for a Cowboys fan, and he just holds this resentment against us. But anyway, I'm picking the Packers 30-27, a close game. Next is the Steelers versus the Falcons, another tough game to pick from. Both teams are just, it's like the toilet bowl right here. Both teams are mid. They're gross. The Steelers have been doing a little bit better. They've been running the football. The Falcons can run the football too, but it's like, do you really trust Marcus Mariota? And this is pretty much a coin toss. Like, what quarterback do you like the most here? Kenny Pickett, the rookie who's unproven, or Marcus Mariota, a guy who just hasn't really lived up to his hype out of college? I'm going to roll with the Falcons, though, I guess, because they're at home, but I'm not super confident. But look, I'm going to pick the Falcons 24-20. Next is the Jets taking on the Vikings. So the Jets, they got Mike White. Mike White is playing amazing. He always does this, though. Last year, he came in and he torched the Bengals. And the next game, he throws like 3 or 4 interceptions. I don't really see him doing this against a Vikings defense that isn't that good. I don't think he'll throw 4 picks against the Vikings defense. But I do expect a really good game between these two. However, the Vikings are at home, and Kirk Cousins at 1 p.m., he's just a different animal. He's like Dan Marino out there. So I got to go with the Vikings. I'm going to go 27-24 Vikings. Next is the Jags taking on the Lions, another very, very tough game to pick from. Both teams, obviously a disappointment. The Jags got a big comeback win against the Ravens. The Lions lost to a really tough Bills team. They almost beat them. They really almost did. And the Lions have played everyone tough. So for those reasons, I'm going to take the Lions. Once again, I'm not confident in this pick, but someone's got to win. And I'm going to go Lions 31-30. Next is a good game. This is the Titans taking on the Eagles. So the Titans are known to run the ball very well. And they face an Eagles team where the Eagles defense can't stop the run. The Eagles can run the ball, though, very well themselves on offense, but the Titans are one of the best at stopping the run, so they're going to have Jalen Hurts beat them with their arm. Jalen Hurts has improved in his passing game, so we'll see how this one goes. I mean, if the Titans can have Ryan Tannehill not turn the ball over and let Derrick Henry just run all over them and maybe force a turnover or two from the Eagles, and I got the Titans. Obviously, I have to pick the Titans as a Cowboys fan. But, yeah, I expect a really good game from these two teams. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles won, but I got to root for the Titans 27-23. Next is the Browns taking on the Texans. So the Browns get Deshaun Watson starting his first game. as a Brown, and he's facing his former team, the Houston Texans, in Houston. This was a team that traded Watson away because Watson wanted to leave Houston. And, there's all those speculations with his legal trouble with the women and all that. That's a whole different topic. I'm not going to get into that. You could do some research on yourself. But there's just this whole big story and this whole craziness going on. If you know about it. And yeah, this is something makes me scratch my head and say the NFL did this on purpose and made Deshaun Watson's 10-game suspension, have him come back to play Houston in Houston. Bravo to the script writers of the NFL because they definitely nailed this one. But this is going to be really interesting to see because the Texans, they have a young stud running back, and the Browns defense can't stop the run to save their lives. So the Texans could win this game that way. And also, Deshaun Watson hasn't played football in almost 2 years. So we saw him in the preseason. He didn't look that great, but now he's been practicing more, getting chemistry with the team. And I expect the Browns to win, but I think it's going to be close, 27-20. Next, the Commanders taking on the Giants. So two teams that I absolutely despise, but I got to pick someone here. The Commanders have been rolling. They've been rolling right along. They've been playing great with Taylor Heineke. Their defense is getting healthy at the right time. As for the Giants, they've lost their last 3 out of 4 games. They look pretty stuck. They haven't been able to run the ball that well with Saquon, but I think this is the game where Barkley gets going again. Brian Daboll figures it out. And Daniel Jones, man, if he doesn't turn the ball over, and he could pick up some rushing yards too and throw that Washington defense off a little bit. And if the Giants defense could get some turnovers off Taylor Heineke, I think the Giants got this one, though. It's going to be close. I'm picking the Giants 23-21. Next is the Broncos taking on the Ravens. So the Broncos have been putrid, as everyone knows. They've been probably the biggest disappointment in the NFL. People had them going to the Super Bowl. I don't know. I didn't pick them to go to the Super Bowl. I had them at least getting 9 wins, and it might not even look like they'll get 7 wins this year. They're taking on a Ravens team that, is also very good, but they're disappointing at times. They're 7-4, and all 4 of their losses have happened late in the fourth quarter where they can't hold on to a lead. But this time, I think the Ravens are going to hold on to that lead. I think they're going to run the ball down Denver's throat and get the win 30-17. That's my prediction. Next, this game is going to be a banger in my opinion. The Dolphins taking on the Niners. I think they should have flexed it to the Sunday night game. Even though my Cowboys are playing Sunday night, they're playing the Colts. They should have switched this because this one's going to be epic for sure. So the Dolphins, they have their head coach, Mike McDaniels, and they have 2 running backs that are also from the Niners. They have Raheem Mostert, and they have, why can't I remember his name? Jeff Wilson Jr., who they just traded for. So there's 3 former Niners ready to go. They're ready to go right now, and they're ready to take on their former team in Santa Clara and really put a beating on them. And this Niners team, they're playing good football right now. They're running the ball. They have a great defense. It's really tough to pick, but man, I got to go with the Dolphins. We're going to see how good Tua really is. Tua's been playing at a high level this year. He's got great weapons surrounding him, but now he's on the road against a very, very good defense, and we're going to see how he handles the adversity. But I got to go with the Dolphins here, 31-24. Next is the Seahawks taking on the Rams. So the Seahawks been on a little bit of a losing skid. The Rams have just been absolutely terrible. I mean, they went from Super Bowl champs to Super Bowl chumps. And this is an NFC West showdown. I don't know who's quarterbacking for the Rams, whether it's Stafford or Bryce Perkins, but I think the Seahawks bounce back, and they're not playing games, and they're going to win this one 33-20. Next is the Chargers taking on the Raiders. So these teams usually split every year. The Chargers beat them earlier, and they really need this game. They're 6-5, and they want to make the playoffs. They have to win this game. The Raiders, on the other hand, they picked up 2 straight wins. They're playing good. But, I think it comes to an end here. The Raiders can beat them, no doubt about it. But I just think the Chargers are going to get this one. I think they're going to go for the sweep, and I'm going to pick them 29-23. Wouldn't be surprised if this went to overtime. Next is the Chiefs taking on the Bengals. So the Chiefs have been absolutely on fire lately, like just absolutely crushing it. And the Bengals, on the other hand, they're they're crushing it too. They're getting hot at the right time like they were last year. And speaking of last year, the Bengals beat the Chiefs once in the regular season and then beat them in the AFC Championship. So the Bengals have had their number this last year. But I think Mahomes and company remember that. They took a mental note, and they're gonna punch the Bengals in the mouth. I mean, would I be surprised if the Bengals won? Absolutely not, because they're a good football team, and I'm pretty sure Jamar Chase is coming back. And when Jamar Chase faced the Chiefs twice last year, he completely destroyed them. But I am going to pick the Chiefs here. I just feel like, they're going to take this one personal, and I'm going to go Chiefs 35-28. Next is the Colts taking on the Cowboys. So the Colts, with Jeff Saturday as their coach, they played 3 games. They're 1-2, but the 2 losses that they got were very tough losses. I mean, tough losses in very close games. They can hang around there. And the Cowboys, me being a Cowboys fan, I just know that whenever the Cowboys play someone that they're supposed to crush, they usually lose to or they barely beat. So the Cowboys, they can't take this Colts team lightly. The Colts have a good defense for how bad their team is. Their defense is good, and they have a great running back with Jonathan Taylor. And the Cowboys' weakness, the last 2 games they've cleaned it up, but it's stopping the run. If they could stop Jonathan Taylor and force Matt Ryan to drop back in the pocket, I think the Cowboys are going to get 5 or more sacks, 5 to 7 sacks easily on Matt Ryan. But they have to shut down that run game. And Dak, I love Dak, but he can't be stupid and turn the ball over in a crucial spot. He'll do that. He's done that the last few games where he'll be in the red zone. He just throws an interception. And sometimes it's not his fault, but it's like, come on, man, you can't do that. But the coaching too, man. Kellen Moore, he's got to stop being cute and creative on 4th and 2 at the Dallas' own 35 and doing a jet sweep. He's got to just keep it simple, stick to the run. When you're passing the ball, make sure your passes are precise and accurate. And I got the Cowboys winning this one 27-17. The final game is the Monday night game. Saints taking on the Bucks. So the Saints have owned the Bucks, but that might not be the case this year because the Bucks beat them earlier, and I think the Bucks will do it again. The Saints are just such a weird team. They're supposed to be good, but injuries plague them, and they haven't really showed up. They've been horrible this year, but the Bucks have been horrible too this year. This was a team that won the Super Bowl 2 years ago with Tom Brady, arguably the best quarterback ever, but they're struggling. They're 5-6, and they need this win, and I think they're going to get it. I'm going to go the Bucks winning 17-13 in a very close game, but if the Saints won, I wouldn't be surprised. So that's it for my Week 13 picks. The 2 teams on their bye week is the Arizona Cardinals and the Carolina Panthers. So now it's time for my lock of the week, which is the Seahawks over the Rams. I'm not super confident on that lock. Honestly, looking at the schedule, there's not really much teams you could pick and say, ooh, that team's definitely going to win 100%. But I got to go with the Seahawks, and my upset is the Dolphins over the Niners. I think the former offensive coordinator, Mike McDaniels, along with the 2 former Niner running backs, are just ready to tear into the Niners and show them what they missed out on. So that's it for my picks. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you agree with mine. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on my Instagram page. Do what you can to like, share, and promote my content. Have a wonderful night and enjoy some Week 13 football.